How's it going, ladies and Bruce? It's up, Sixkilla, and welcome back to the Divine Deception. As you may have noticed if you were here for the last episode, we're kind of stuck on this route now too. Oh wait, no, that's a bronze key, isn't it? We got a bronze key. We can go one further. I thought that was a gold key, thank God. Wait, are some of these others bronze keys and I thought they were gold keys? I need to know. What if I've messed that up? No, that's definitely a gold key. It's definitely a gold key, and that is definitely a silver key, so I haven't messed it up. Let's carry on with this one, shall we? Chip and a chair. What was that? What the hell? Those are the thoughts that passed through my mind back when I initially listened to the audio clip that the devil sent me. Of course, quite a bit of time has passed since then. I've gotten my thoughts in order, but back then I was incredibly confused. What was the context of this conversation? What was the context of this recording? Who was Marduk talking about? Who was he talking to? Well, for one, at least I knew the devil wasn't just talking shit. I still didn't buy his god theory for a second, but this definitely required consideration. Careful consideration. Let's think about this rationally. What was actually said there? It really is a pain. Do I really have to listen to "Don't lecture me about respect"? Yes, results I understand. They seem like important statements. Let's go through them one at a time. It really is a pain implies that to some extent Marduk is annoyed with the compliance. Not outright angry. It might not even be necessarily against his will. It just annoys him on some level. Do I really have to listen to implies that he is on some level listening to someone. The devil would have me think that means he's been controlled by the god, but that's not quite what's being said right there. Just on some level, Marduk is listening to someone. Maybe that means doing a specific thing. Maybe that means not doing something. It's probably a hard order, not advice, or else he wouldn't be upset. But conversely, if it really was this god hypothesis that the devil thinks, I don't think this is the sort of way he'd be talking about it. Don't lecture me about respect. Respect. Clearly whoever Marduk was talking to rebuffed Marduk's complaints, saying that respect is important in this context. So does Marduk need to give someone respect? Who on earth could that possibly be? Or is it more of a respect the hustle type respect? Couldn't be sure. Finally, yes, results, I understand. So results are the reason that Marduk is listening to this person, or at the very least, results are related. No, I couldn't piece this together with my current understanding of things. Well, shit. Actually thinking about it, why was I just sitting here twiddling my thumbs? It was a perfectly good person to ask. Immediately I began drafting up an email. If I was smarter, back then I would have thought about the approach a bit more mindfully. That's hindsight for you. Devil, this clip is incredible. It's from Marduk, right? I'm so glad you trust me enough to send me this. Is this part of your card that you were hesitant to show me earlier? This definitely has big implications about Panthea. I'd be delighted if you could give me some more insight into what exactly this call is about. Thank you. Olaf. Without a second thought, I sent the email. I figured it was adequately thankful and respectful. I knew to at least get to that, but I was just so curious about the clip. I sat there, refreshing my email account over and over, waiting for a response. Some response, any response. It took longer than I expected, but a watch pot never boils, or however that saying goes. A watch pot never boils. I got an email back from the devil before too long. I opened it, excited to hear his explanation. Unfortunately, at first glance, the email was disappointingly short. You are correct. This is a secret file I've not shared with many people. Me sending this to you signals my trust. It is good to know you properly appreciate that. You were questioning my theory about Panthea's god. Well, let this be a testament and proof. There is a Panthean god, one that controls the leader of the duets, Marduk. Marduk is annoyed at having to listen to someone below his station, a regular person, the god. Quod erat demonstrandum. And that was it. Fucking hell, how pompous could you get? I was really fucking annoyed by this devil go, but he definitely had some cards I wanted to see. I just have to keep feeding his ego. That was really my best chance of learning more. As I typed up my response, I had to keep my annoyance in check. However, without asking more direct questions, he was going to monologue platitudes ad infinitum. To get the answers I needed, I had to face him head on. I totally see what you mean. Apologies for questioning you. I was out of line. You were clearly far more knowledgeable about the city than me. In my defense, you clearly had more information guiding your theory. Still, I'm big enough to admit when I'm wrong. This is clearly one of those times. Moving on, this clip is huge. It's probably the biggest clue we have towards the identity of the god. I'm sure you've thoroughly analysed it. Still, I'd like to be of some help. Maybe getting a new perspective could open up a new line of thinking that you haven't considered before. To start out, mind if I ask you a few basic questions? For one, how did you get this audio? I understand if you don't want to give specifics, maybe you have some sources you want to protect, but still any surrounding context you could lend would be a huge help. Also, I don't know many recording devices that would only get one side of the conversation. Do you have any idea who Murdoch could be talking to? I think if I knew that, your theory could be pretty much confirmed. Finally, do you know what they talked about before this clip? After the clip? Or is this all you have? Eagerly awaiting answers so we can work on this together. Olaf. And then I sent the email. Not that bad, right? I mean, it strokes his ego, compliments him, acknowledges my fault, very humbly asks to share some information, gives him outs. I think there's a pretty reasonable email, all things considered. I wasn't expecting much pushback from it. I sat there refreshing the tab, waiting for a response. I ended up sitting there far longer than I expected. As a matter of fact, it has now been several days and still not a peep from the devil. Like, what the fuck? Did I blow it? I've read over my email several times now, and still, I can't see what about it caused him offense. I mean, that's probably the reason he isn't responding. He's never responded for this long in the past. Of course, there are some other explanations. It's possible something happened to whoever the devil is, but no, that can't be right. That's too fantastical. Somebody looking into the truth of Panthea disappearing right as they're asked important questions about incriminating audio file? That's too fantastical. It almost makes it seem like the whole conspiracy idea is real. I shook my head. No, dumb idea. Bad idea. The devil was actively choosing not to respond. Why, I wasn't sure. Maybe he didn't want to answer those questions. I thought I'd given him a reasonable ability to refuse answering, but apparently not. Whatever. I couldn't spend time thinking about that shit. You know what? I need to just refresh my brain for like a hot second. And there was one reliable place to do that. To Kamapa I go. What's trending? Let's see. Heartwarming pic of a cartoon, blah blah. Some dipshits giving dumb investment advice again. Not funny comic. Another not funny comic. Inspirational quote next to an animal picture. A funny video that's been posted like 1,000 times. Oh, some interesting space news. Wonder how things are progressing on that front. Painfully unfunny edgy joke. God, Kamapa sucks. What else? A video of some really dumb stunts. What idiot filmed these? So it sounds like Twitter then, right? Well, they make for some good popcorn entertainment. Oh, here's something interesting. Apparently the name Buck has been thrown around more often for this upcoming election. There's a poll stating that his brand recognition is at an all-time high. He seems to have a decent amount of approval. That's neat. What are the comments thinking? I entered the thread. I actually met Buck once. He's super down-to-earth dude. We had a solid conversation, exchanged ideas. I wasn't even a fan, but he really listened to my concerns and explained his own positions pretty well. I'd say Panthea is due for some change. Buck seems like a good direction to go. You wanna know what's fucked up? Aja's campaign has gone like super low on the fight. Legit, I saw some pro-Aja posters hung up on my block recently. They were bordering on racist, to be honest. Just goes to show how out of touch she is. Buck or bust. You guys know that guy has no political experience, right? Like, none whatsoever? He had, what, a middling job at Olimpo and he wants to jump straight up to leading Panthea? Seems pretty dumb. But anyone but Aja, right? Because fuck a hard-working woman trying to make things better. Crime still exists, so clearly it's her fault and she's just not cut out for all of this. Honestly, Kamapa users have their heads so far up their asses. Alright, bored now. New thread. Let's go. Let's skim for something interesting. Oh. Someone made a post complaining about the duets. A thorough list of... So it sounds more like fucking... Reddit then. A thorough list of a bunch of grievances with some evidence attached. Bold, but I suppose not overly so, considering it was an anonymous Kamapa account. Alright, comment time. Seriously can't believe Panthea is still fucking dealing with the duets. In this day and age, we're still dealing with a fucking mafia. Like, fucking seriously? It's pathetic. Hugely pathetic. Someone should run up to their base and just gun them all down. Fucking gutter rats, a lot of them. Imagine being such a worthless piece of shit that your greatest purpose in life is being in a two-bit gang. Disgraceful. Duets don't deserve rights. You feel like these monthly let's shit on the duets posts have become weekly at this point. If it's so bad, then why doesn't somebody do something? Oh, that's right. Everybody here is a bunch of loud talkers too chicken shit to actually make any change. Or we can pat each other's backs with another thread saying how they're all so bad and lame and whatever. It's gotten old. Alright, that's a shit show. Predictable. Back to the homepage. Skim. Oh. A memorial piece dedicated to the late Apis. It's a sketched picture. I didn't think Apis was well enough known to get drawn pictures of him as tribute long after his death. Guess I stand mistaken. Now what are the comments on this going to be like? I entered the thread with a bit of anticipation. My god, this drawing's amazing. I absolutely love the line work. Is there any way I could support you? Then the author went and plugged some shit. Okay, moving on. So glad people still remember Apis. As someone who's not really a big fan of the police, I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. I mean, he pretty much single-handedly took down a dictator. Were it not for him, I'm pretty sure Zahak would still be ruling Panthea as a wrinkled, desiccated husk of herself. Are we still on Apis? He caught some people, big whoop. I don't know why he's paraded as this big paragon by the police force, and I don't know why so many people have eaten it up. He solved some cases. That was his job. But he took down someone in power, someone who was a superior even. I'd say that's worth fucking commemorating. Quite predictably, the last comment was not doing particularly favourably in the Kamapa voting system. I mean, what were you expecting? A comment like that on a post like that? Anyways, I still wanted to kill a bit more time. Maybe one more interesting thread. Let's see, scrolling. Oh, this is interesting. An Oracle article. Wait, not an article. An official apology. That's weird. I wasn't in a heavy reading mood though, so I just went to the comments to try to see what it was. What was what? TLDR, the article addresses allegations of prejudice in the Oracle's coverage of Panthean events, and it's written by the head of the Oracle, Kane Shea. Link to here if you want to know who he is, but to sum it up quick, he had some iffy takes, but generally less shitty than some of the more hardcore douchebags you find in those circles. He basically says that a certain amount of bias is inevitable when running an operation where you have to write a lot of opinion pieces. Shea claims that a lot of it stems from his love of Panthea, civic pride. You know the drill. He does, however, concede that for an objective news-based site, that sort of bias is probably not the best. He says he's going to be doing a lot of reflection on how he properly limits bias in reporting moving forward, including hiring some new blood onto the Oracle, with opposing viewpoints. Ultimately, we're going to have to kind of wait to see if he means what he says or if it's a crock of shit. Honestly, I could see it going either way. Didn't the Oracle make pretty much an identical apology like a year back? Are we supposed to believe that this will be any different than that time? It's a move to mitigate some of the bad press circulating about his bad press, and nothing more. I hope people are smart enough to see through that though, nowadays. It's hard to have such faith. Shake my head, I can't believe the Oracle is bowing down to the public pressure like this. Another case of internet mob justice going wild. The Oracle was fine, it gave the facts, then it gave opinions, and it clearly delineated between the two. People just mad that the opinions aren't the ones they share. Newsflash, there's plenty of journalists who follow that'll give the facts and then some cookie cutter opinions. Just go follow one of them. I read the Oracle because as a proud Panthean, I like hearing the truth of the matter. I really hope that these promised changes aren't noticeable or I'm going to be very upset. Alright, okay, that's it. That's final. Enough internet toxicity for one day. Kamapa was fine in short doses. Spend too long in that labyrinth and your head starts to go funny. Besides, all of this is probably just my attempt to stall from doing the actual work I had ahead of me. I could dick around on my laptop as long as I wanted, but at some point I'd have to face reality and tend to my obligations. Well, no time like the present. I reached over to my desk drawer and took out a low-key looking phone. Probably a burner. Definitely locked. Hopefully had some interesting shit in there. Well. A secret hidden phone in the residence of one Polly Deismer. How exciting. Lucky for me that goody two-shoes thought it fitting to give this to me. Which meant that I could snoop all through the contents before actually handing it off to the proper investigators. And that meant fun for me, especially considering I was also conducting my own investigation of sorts. Right, that's how to frame this. This isn't work, this is fun. This is for personal benefit. Still, hacking phones open was kind of a monotonous work. Luckily I knew more or less how to do just that. First to check if the phone would just open on its own. Okay, so scratch that idea. I reached for a nearby bin and started digging through some wires until I found the appropriate one. There we go. I attached one end of the wire into the phone and the other into my laptop. This would make things a whole hell of a lot easier. I searched for the appropriate tools on my laptop, and then I got to work. Let's pry this bad boy open, shall we? Alright, I'll make an attempt, like I always do, but I'm not willing to sit here for hours to figure it out because, you know, I have to record fucking episodes. And I'm far more concerned with, you know, getting the story done. But I'll bring you back once I've gotten my solution. Alright, that's my final answer. If it's not right, I don't fucking care, we're skipping, okay? But that's my final answer. Apparently blocks like this are fine because the 6 is like that and there's nothing I can do about it. which means I'm within my rights to do that blocking bullshit too. So bam. Okay, I got it right first attempt. What the fuck was wrong with the last two then? Calm. Okay. I'm calm. I'm fucking calm. Voila. Not exactly a walk in the park, but a hack phone is a hack phone. With this, no longer did a password stand in my way. With a simple flick of my finger, I was in. Alright, let's see. I could turn this bad boy in, or I could go with the infinitely more fun and rewarding option of snooping through the phone by myself right now. It should be obvious which option I settled on. Time to see what secrets this super secret burner was hiding. First up, let's make sure this phone belongs to the expected person. I went to the contact section. What does the phone call itself? Polly, huh? Alright. A little boring, but I guess that's the expected option. I guess. A part of me was hoping it'd be a super secret phone that belonged to a mysterious person. After all, if the phone was hiding in a public area of the house, theoretically it could belong to anybody living there. Maybe even the previous owner. In fact, since it was hidden in a public area, and not someplace inside Polly's room, it actually suggested that he wasn't the owner of this phone. After all, this is your super secret phone, you'd probably hide it in a place you couldn't accidentally stumble across it. But I didn't see any reason why you'd lie about your identity in the contact section of the phone. It was safe to assume the phone really belonged to Polly. So then, was this a burner of his? Most likely. Burner phones are great. They're the ones that always hide the juiciest of secrets. So then, what apps did this burner phone have? Oh, nothing interesting. Pretty much any standard shit phones come with. I guess it made sense you wouldn't download Kamapa or some gaming apps on your secret burner phone. But still, gave me less to work with. Well, we gotta start somewhere. How about the pictures? I opened up the pictures app. Anything interesting? Whoa. Okay. Lot of porn. Lot of porn. Except... Oh. Okay. So, not porn. At least not the traditional type. Let's actually look at this a bit closer. Okay. Whew. Maybe this phone shows how fucked up my mind is, but I had to make sure this wasn't like, you know, fucked up in some way. Taken secretly or under duress or some shit. Still seems like everything here was pretty above board. Relatively speaking. I mean, it's not like I could transport myself to these exact situations, but rather, there's nothing to imply that it was coerced in some unethical way. Gotta be honest, still seems a bit weird to keep a gallery like this. But I mean, maybe that's the whole purpose of this burner phone. Grand scheme of things, doesn't seem particularly out of character for Polly. More importantly, I severely doubted this was relevant in any particularly pertinent way. Okay then, so pictures are out. What else? What other avenues to check? How about this phone's browser? That seemed pretty good. I opened it up. Blank page. That's fine. Time to boot up the old search history. Any skeletons in your closet, Polly? I began reading through. Stocks, basic edition, how to work stocks. Is it healthy to shave your pubic hair? Are there people who don't dream? Shadow of Panthea. Thane reports. What is the earth spin? Does your voice change as you age? Vocal recognition. Security measures. Security camera prices. How to host kid birthday parry. My cat lyrics. Tele greatest hits. How to get a song out of head. Why isn't 11 1T1? What is a good credit score? Polly Deismer. Polly Deismer scandals. Polly Deismer dick pig. How to raise your credit score. Vashu Devaki. Recent duet activity. Vashu Devaki, that's, what's his name's dad? Krish's dad. Recent duet activity. How much does it cost to live in a hotel for a prolonged period of time? How to make a threatening note without it being traced back to you? Private investigators, Panthea. Private investigator, average cost. What if I hired 2 private investigators to investigate each other? How do you submit videos to Panthea's funniest videos? How do you record private investigators without it being obvious? How do you use Kamapa? Alright, well that was a waste of time. Moving on. Okay, fuck it. I was dancing around the issue. Clearly the place to check was the text conversations. There weren't a lot of them. Even fewer of them were given contact names. I guess that made sense. You usually wouldn't want use your burner phone that often. Maybe question why there were so many search results in the browser. Actually, okay, that probably made sense. The browser account was probably linked between multiple devices, meaning those search results could only be made on any device Polly owned. Wait, did that mean that Polly had linked his burner phone to his browser account? Either Polly was a bigger dumbass than I thought, or this wasn't really much of a burner as it was a second phone. And honestly, either option seemed plausible. Whatever, time to just start checking conversations. Oh, here's a thread with Odin. That seemed promising. Kingpin that Odin is, maybe there'd be some major secret talk happening here. Let's see. Hey Odin, it's me, Polly. Just want you to know about the contact number, just in case. Doubt you'd ever need to contact it, and I doubt I'd contact you from it. But you know, I just wanted you to have this number. Just in case. Let me know when you get this. Ha! You have a perfectly good phone already, do you not? What use is a second phone? You have not earned such excess. You do not deserve so many ways to access me. Frankly, I should make you talk to me in person every time you wish to converse. Okay, Dad. And that's the end of the conversation. For a brief moment, I felt like I got a brief flash of what it would be like to live in the Odin Deismer household. It wasn't a positive flash. Let's move on. This is a conversation with someone simply known as The Guy. What was this about? I opened that conversation. Hey, did you see the newest episode of Lunch Money? Apparently it got an 8.5 in the ratings on one site and a 4 out of 5 on another. Yeah man, it was great. The next episode is on at 9:30 on PTV, right? Yep, so excited. A period of time passed. Hey, did you see that new episode of Magical Molly? I heard it got a 6.0 in the ratings on one site and a 3 out of 5 on the other. Yeah man, it was only okay. The next episode is on at 11 o'clock on the Smithsonian channel, right? Yep, I'd still check it out. A period of time passed. Hey man, we should hang out sometime soon. Totally. It's been far too long. Some more time passed. Hey, did you see that new episode of The Golden Boys? I heard it got a 7.8 in the ratings on one site and a 4 out of 5 on another. Yeah man, it was pretty good. Next episode is on at 9 o'clock on Opera streaming, right? This is not how normal people talk. What the fuck is this, a code? Oh, I thought it was at 11. You're right. Cool, I'm excited for it. Some more time passed. How about recent events, huh? The world's really crazy. And some more time passed. You see the new episode of Magical Molly? I heard it got a 9.5 in the ratings on one site and a 5 out of 5 on another. Yeah man, it was fantastic. The next episode is on at 10 o'clock on PTV, right? Yep, I'm super excited. Oh, okay. I got it. It was a drug deal. Cool. Nice work, Polly. I couldn't quite crack the exact specifics of this code, but the broad strokes were pretty clear. Didn't seem particularly sophisticated, but I suppose it just needed to hold up in court or whatever. So, getting hooked up by a low-rent drug dealer. Classy dies, my boy. Oh, to Polly's defense, it didn't seem like the two had talked in quite a bit of time. Not that was really indicative of much. I double-checked this contact's phone number and wrote it down on my computer's notepad app. I wasn't really the type to indulge in that sort of stuff. Still, you never know what will end up being useful. This is probably pointless, but having a drug dealer's contact number in my back pocket might end up useful at some fork down the road. Okay, here we go. This was it. This was the money name. Art. This should be good. Those two are brothers. Unlike Odin, I don't think Art would dismiss Polly out of hand. But you don't know Art then, huh? Art might be really wrapped up in the true criminal workings of Panthea. I was excited to see what this conversation had to offer. I clicked on the name and began to skim. Huh. Oh. Huh? I scrolled up quite a bit more. I needed full context for this. I need to make sure I understood exactly what was being said. Okay, this seemed like far enough to get a full scope of things. So carefully, let's go through this conversation point by point. Hey Art. I know when we last talked we were on rocky terms, but I need your help. It's about the latest scandal. I'm sure you've seen it. Usually I don't care about the media, but this one's annoying. I'm trying to rehabilitate my image. Now Odin's really on my ass about the whole thing. I just need it to go away. You have contacts with media people, right? People who are good at angling how the public receives info, right? Could you please hook me up with some of those contacts? Just as one brother asking another for a favour. I'm begging you. Why are you contacting me with that number? Anyways, the answer is no. I find this begging shameless. Do you really think we have that sort of relationship where I'd bail you out like this? Seriously? I don't know why you feel the need to rehabilitate your image, but whatever reason you have, it almost certainly is a waste of time. Maybe if consequences catch up to you, you'll finally learn a lesson. Seriously, bro? Yes, I am serious, bro. Why are you gonna be an asshole all the time? You made an unreasonable request. You're getting a reasonable answer. Simple as that. Look, I don't want to bring this up, you kinda owe me one. Oh? How do you figure that? Guess you forgot I was the one who warned you about the whole JC situation. If not for me, you would have been taken down. Hard. You don't think my warning is worth anything? Heh. You're the only asshole I know who texts the word heh. You really are trying to pull this shit. Pull shit? What are you talking about? You're trying to spin that as a selfless act on your part, not a calculated move on your part. Yeah? Liar. You and I both know you only contacted me out of self-interest. You knew that I would handle the situation for you. It was the only way to handle the fact that JC knew about the Callista situation. What the fuck? How do you know about that? You know me. I'm thorough. And I doubted your motives when you threw a pretty looking girl like JC under the bus. There isn't a Callista situation. We both know that's not true. It was an accident. Accidents tend to happen when you're drunk, Polly. Nothing really happened. Callista's fine. We both agreed to be cool. She told me herself it was all chill. It wasn't an issue until JC started poking around and putting ideas in her head, giving Callista ideas about settlement money. And by the way, incredibly fucked up of JC to do that when I was fucking helping her with her investigation shit. Like, why the fuck would you go ahead and try to wreck my life? So you admit it would wreck your life? No. Like I said, nothing happened. Callista was cool. Even with JC being a bitch, Callista told me she was going to be rational. She knew she wouldn't gain anything by making a mountain out of a molehill. So you're saying you didn't have a strong motive to silence JC? My motive was saving your ass. Bullshit. After all, you're the one who left her on the manjet, right? Manjet? What the fuck is that? What the fuck are you talking about? JC was too wise to get captured when the duets came for her. For a bit, she was completely MIA. She knew she was being targeted, so she was laying low. She was smart enough to know that she should get out of town, and yet somehow she ended up unconscious on the duets' doorstep. Even the duets had no idea who delivered her, practically wrapped with a bow. How do you even know all of this? I have a friend. How do you think I was able to get duets' senior officers to recognize JC as a threat in the first place? Anyways, you're the one who delivered her to the duets, right? The fuck? No. Why would you say that? She was on the run, Polly. She knew she was in danger. She only stayed with someone she trusted a great deal. At the time, she couldn't have known that Callista reached out to you and blabbed about JC's other investigations. As far as she was concerned, you were still acting as an informant and an ally. She'd have trusted you. You would have had the opportunity to get to her. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Art, but I know enough to say it's bullshit. I'm not a fucking murderer. Oh? Was it not murder when you first tipped JC off to me? Of course not. I thought you'd pay her off, to throw her off the scent or ship her away. I didn't think you'd jump right to murder. You're not that naive. Apologies for not realizing my brother's a complete psychopath. Art, how hard is it to realize that I've just tried to look out for you? I always have. Is that so? I recall a certain brother you certainly didn't reach out to help when he quite needed it. I was busy. I'm not proud of it. You know what? Fuck you, Art. I don't need this shit. I get it. You're not gonna help. Such a sucker cock. Grow up. You can't keep living life like this. Those are the last messages the two sent each other. Fuck. That conversation confirmed like 7 things I suspected and raised another 12 questions for me to worry about. There was so much to unpack there that I didn't even really know where to start. JC's disappearance? This is critical to unraveling that. Polly apparently was an informant against Art. JC knew something that Art couldn't tolerate. She also knew something that the duets couldn't tolerate, and perhaps most troublingly, she knew something that Polly couldn't tolerate. It sounded pretty conclusive that once JC was knocked out on duet turf, they were the ones who finished the job. But then who knocked her out? Polly? He earnestly denied it though. It didn't really prove much. It looked like Polly was capable of much deeper deception than I'd previously thought. And wait, was I sure that the duets finished the job? What the fuck was the manjet? Art didn't actually explain that. Who was Art's friend? Another brother? My mind spun around and around. I need to focus. This phone. This was the key. This was the key to something big. There were a lot of questions I needed answers for. And with this, I finally found some determination. There was someone I had half a mind to talk to for quite some time. With this, I finally felt like interviewing them would actually be worth my time. I should start making arrangements to talk with them. But first, the information in this phone. There was somebody who definitely needed to see it. I opened my computer. There's a lot of work to do. You know what I always liked about myths? Well, one of the things I like about myths actually have quite a lot of things to admire. But if I expand the topic too wide, you'll hear me jabbering all day. One particular aspect of myths that I like is the fact that, with practically no exception, the gods are always portrayed as assholes. It always made sense to me. If there is some divine being above, I can't possibly imagine them being all benevolent and all loving and shit. I think we'd be made in their image. Petty and selfish and vindictive and human. For me, that tracks a lot more. Certainly explains the state of things, huh? And it's realistic. If you view the gods of ancient myths as essentially humans, but with limitless power, of course they'd be a bunch of dicks. Living forever, no restrictions on what you can do. Losing empathy is inevitable. Maybe that's what separates us from gods. Maybe to be divine is not some grand aspiration, but something that we would consider amoral. To be divine is to be self-interested, to be unable to connect with anybody else. Because why would you? How could you? If you were so much greater than a man, where power comes in many forms, not just magic abilities and immortality, then does acquiring power make you more divine? It's certainly been playing on my mind, watching this myth. No new keys, though. We haven't got a lock on the next one, though, so we are jumping into that. And the next one, this one's getting quite good, must admit. Not gonna lie. It's getting pretty good. But we'll see where this is going to take us next time. We're getting pretty close to the end of this one now, too. We still haven't started either of these, so we'll put them off as long as we can. I feel like this is lock, and I feel like this is... I don't know. I don't know. But I guess we'll find out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.